Hey my scrappy friends, welcome to my channel. I wanted to share with you part 2 of the Secret Not Secret Kit Club questionnaire. So if you haven't watched the first part, you can follow the link below to where I answered the first set of questions. There are 30 questions altogether. In this questionnaire that the Secret Not Secret Kit Club has kind of been putting out, and a whole bunch of us have been answering these questions in different forms and sharing different aspects. So one of the things that will eventually end up on my channel is a scrapbook room tour. I haven't done one since I redid my room, like I was talking in the first section. So I'm hoping this week that I can get one out. So by the weekend and stuff. Also look forward to a kill a kit type of video that I want to do coming up this week too. So yay. So let's get started, because I know these questions are going to take a long time because the first half took quite a long time. So I hope you enjoy them. I didn't do this live because I figured that it would be better for you guys to just hear the questions and all that kind of stuff. So if there's anything that you want me to talk about more in depth, not that I don't talk about this stuff in depth, but you know, in more depth than I did, definitely leave info and more questions below if you have more questions, because I'm so willing to talk about a lot of the stuff that is on here. Okay, so I answered, I believe, 1 through 15 or 1 through 14. And it was, so 15 is, do you have a dedicated time that you craft? Oh, I think I answered that one. And I just fit it in. I do have a lot of days where I either have time to do it if I'm not tired, or, you know, or I usually have some point during the weekend where I'm able to do stuff. We do stuff around, but then again, we don't. So there's a lot of times where we're just sitting at home, especially now that we're in an area where it rains for half of the year, basically. So in the winter time, we don't do as much, ish. I don't know though. We did do quite a bit of like weekend trips. Well, not the whole weekend, but like we would do a trip out to Seattle or something, or out near Seattle to like IKEA or some other places. So it's not that we don't do stuff. It's just we don't do stuff all the time. So we like to have our weekends to relax too. So especially since my husband's job is really busy during the week, and sometimes he has really late nights and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I mean, it just depends. So yeah, I just fit it in because I don't have to have a schedule. So since I'm home all the time. Okay. That doesn't mean that I'm not busy with our own routine, right? So, okay. So 16 is, how do you manage to stay on schedule with design team work? And do you ever struggle with assignments and deadlines? So I would say that in the past, I've actually done a ton of stuff and not had a problem at all. I think different seasons in your life just make your life busier with activities, make your life busier with things that are going on. I've talked a lot about this lately. If you followed me around in my Facebook group, I've done some live stuff talking about this in my own personal journey this year of going into a different season. And I will say that when you're on teams, there's a lot of planning that goes on in your mind, at least. Whether you're someone who writes this kind of stuff down or not. My own advice for anyone who wants to be on teams is, you never know what you can take on until you start doing it. And I think there's this bit of excitement when you start getting on teams that helps thrust you into being able to produce a lot. And then as time goes on, you easily find out what you can handle and what you can't. And I will say this is sick, like it goes in cycles for me. When I first started scrapbooking and I was doing a lot of stuff just in general with other people, I did quite a bit. And then there was times where like when we moved, I couldn't do a lot. And then when we first got here, I did a lot. I was doing quite a bit. And when I first started getting on a whole bunch of teams, I did a lot. And I've had to cut back this year just because I've realized that I was having a lot harder time scheduling everything that I wanted to get done in, and not being able to do a lot of collaborations with other people, which is one of the things that I absolutely love to do. So it made it really hard. So it's hard to fit it all in if you're really busy and you're not productive in your room, which is another point. So really, I have all the time to do a lot of the projects that I do. It's just getting in my room and making sure that I'm productive. And also with a lot of the stuff that's went on this year, I found that I've been really struggling with creative block. And I think it's just because I've done so much, and then in my real, like as a mom with chores, and we homeschool. So as a homeschool mom, getting all that stuff, and then switching modes and coming in my room. And there's a lot of times where I just sit here and I almost have to just like do really small chunks of stuff that doesn't take a lot of mind stuff. So sometimes that is art journaling, to just throw stuff on a page. I feel like this year I've really produced some awesome mixed media stuff because that doesn't require as much brain power. But then again, sometimes I didn't want to pull out all the stuff that requires you to do because I don't want to clean it up because I've already spent the day doing that kind of stuff. So, so I guess on the question of how I manage it, I make a list. I don't know where it is. Somewhere amongst my stuff. I don't know where it is. I don't know where May is, but like, so what I do is I use a calendar and I write down all of my stuff. And then one of the papers that I have used in the past that I really enjoyed using, and I don't know where it is, if I can find it. Excuse me looking. So one of the things that I printed off that I really enjoy are Retro Hit Mama Andrea. She has these awesome printables that she designed herself. And I think you can buy them from her. And she's put those out. I gotta see if I can find it. I don't know if I can. I don't use one every single month because I don't always, I don't know. I found that if I overplan everything, then my brain just like says, no, I can't do that. It's too much stuff. So I am one of those people who don't, I don't know where it is. Where is it? I don't know. Okay. Well, I guess I thought I was going to find it. I guess not. Okay. Instead of spending 50 million hours looking for it. But anyway, it's just this chart. So another way that I also organize what I need to do is I have notebooks, like a ton of them. This is the one that I'm currently using. And I really like that it's hardcover. I also use it to write down like stuff that's going on for Project Life and stuff like that, like during the week. I try to write down, sometimes I use traveler's notebooks too, and sometimes I'm really good about it and sometimes I'm horrible about it. But anyway, so what I like to do is each week, when a weekend starts, because that's usually when I get the most larger chunks of time to create, what I do is I will make a list of this weekend, and I'll just make a list of the different layouts that I want to accomplish. I've generally, for right now, have about 2 or so things that I definitely need to get done on the weekend. So usually 2 or 3 projects or layouts. Sometimes I can get more than that done. So usually I have about 2 or 3 projects or layouts that I need to get done a week. So I usually try to just focus on knowing that I'm only going to get like 2 or 3 things done. I usually don't get more than that done anymore, just because I find that even on my weekends, sometimes either we've been busier or it just takes me longer to get into the groove. And I think it really is a lot to do with the fact that that I'm busy, and so by the time I get in my room, it's just, it takes me a little while to get focused and get everything situated. And so so how I manage doing it, I just make a list and I just have to sit down and I have to get stuff done. And so a lot of times I spend my weekdays doing video type stuff and editing my photos and taking my photos that way and adding like footers and stuff. So I try to get that stuff done during the week because those are things that I don't need to use as much brain power. So that's kind of how I do it. I used to just do it every night. I would do stuff, but I'm not in my scrap room anymore every night. It's just a lot. This year I just don't have as much energy. So and that's fine. You know, like I was mentioning, and I'm probably gonna say it 50 million more times, is that I'm in a different season in my life, and as much as I want scrapbooking to be the main focus, it kind of can't be, because I have to put my family first. And really, I mean, I want my scrapbooking to be authentic to my life. And I'm in a season where my kids need me, my husband needs me to make sure that I'm on top of stuff, even though he never bugs me and he always will throw me, like, if I'm sitting on the couch too long on the weekend, he will kick me in my room, like, no joke. So I'm very thankful that I have a husband who reminds me how much I love scrapbooking, even if I feel like I want to read instead of scrapbook or something. But yeah. So I think managing it is just knowing, like, this is what I need to get done. And a lot of the stuff just kind of comes naturally because I've been doing this for a few years now. And so a lot of the stuff that I create ends up being recorded. So it just, you know, it's just this ebb and flow of stuff. So yeah. Okay, so how is my room set up for YouTubing? So I use my iPad. I used to use my iPad mini and I've got an iPad Pro this year, so I've switched to using that, but I still have the same setup. I have a clamp that's right above my room, and I actually have lights that are over here. So, and then I use some other lights, and if I'm not filming, I won't put on every single light sometimes at night, just because I don't always need it. But I will say that, like, I feel like it's really dark in my room. I could probably use better lighting, and that's one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot this year as I've started redecorating and stuff, is how I can fit better lighting, like what kind of bulbs do I need. But anyway, so I just hook this up on. I use my iPad. Like I said, I film. I have an iPad Pro that has a lot of storage, so that has definitely helped things this year, because I can hold a lot more of my clips without having to worry about only being able to do I do all my editing on my laptop, and so I don't have a desktop yet, and which was my decision at the beginning. I would definitely recommend anyone who's wanting to do filming to think about having some kind of desktop that has memory, or some way that has a lot of memory, because you use a lot of memory with the different types of housing your videos, whether it's the clips or the whole video and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay. The next thing is, so yeah, so my room is set up. I have a decent sized desk, so I have a space that is used just for filming. I also take photos on here too. I got some backgrounds at the beginning of the year, or at the end of last year, maybe around my birthday, I think it was, from a Etsy shop that does like photography backgrounds. I actually really want to get a wood grain one. I think soon, like a lighter wood grain. I have a marble, and I actually keep the marble one just right up on my desktop. So, because it's a lot lighter of a color than, well, it's more of a white color than it is my underneath. And I found that just using my desk all the time, I would probably need to resand it and paint it over. So I haven't decided. I know a lot of people use like just some other kind of stuff that helps with like not getting their desk all dirty and being really white, like a bigger, like almost like a foam board or something on their desk, but I just don't like that. So I found that the background has worked really nice. The one that I have is a vinyl-y one, so I can clean it off pretty easily. My room gets really dusty, so I do have to clean it, you know, every few days, especially if I'm not in here using my room. And that just helps clean it really easily, so it doesn't get all gross with paint or like the glue and stuff. It sticks and all that kind of stuff. So yes, that's my filming process, or like setup. And how did you get the courage to post what you were making? So I started scrapbooking online on YouTube and doing process videos. Gosh, it's probably been about 3 years now. I want to say, I think it was around July or August of 2015. Maybe? Yeah, I think so. 14 maybe? No. Well, actually, you know what? It might have been 2014. So this might actually be going on my 4th year. I think so. Okay, so I'm gonna say, I think it was 2014, because I'd only been scrapbooking for about 6 months, maybe, if that, when I started my YouTube channel. So I was so new, but I really just wanted to have the community. I was watching videos and consuming videos, and I just really wanted to give back. There was a tag. I've told this story like a million times, but that's okay. And there was a tag that was going around, and everyone was like, oh, you should do it if you really want to do it. And I was just like, yes, I wanted to be a part of this community really, really bad, because I just loved it so much. So I started making videos, and I hacked things so that I could record, and I started using the only thing I had was my iPad. And so that's how it started. And I actually really like using my iPad. It's been pretty easy using that. And so yeah, I just started, and I really love sharing. It's hard because in these moments where I've been really busy, and I feel really bad now that I don't get to post as much as I want, and I'm on a lot more teams, and they're more labor intensive because they have bigger projects, and I need to do staged work, which isn't hard. It just takes longer to do. And so, but I just really like finding the nerve to do it, or the courage to do it, wasn't even an issue. And actually, I used to do a lot more face-to-face videos back then, and it was just really fun. So yeah, which is why I still do them, not as much as I want. But yeah, so it was just an easy jump to make, sharing. And I did become part of the community. I met quite a few ladies, and from there we started doing some collabs and stuff. And I think I feel like I still talk with some of the ladies that used to do stuff when I first started, like me and Megan. That's how we kind of met. And some of the ladies don't do scrapbooking as much online anymore, and that's fine too. I think there's this community, there's an ebb and flow of who's sharing all the time and who's not. It takes a lot out of you. If you're someone who wants to do it, I would say go for it. If you're really wanting to try it, because it's like you're not going to know how you feel about it until you start doing it. But I found that like you start finding your groove and finding your like the people who inspire you and help but inspire you in a different way. I feel like I've connected with some ladies, and I've had the opportunity to do collaborations with a lot of amazing ladies, over these years, you know, and I've seen like ladies, start around the same time as me, like Jen Scow started a little bit after me, Victoria, and I've seen them grow, and that's been so fun, you know, starting as like on the same playing field, but then seeing them go off and be like amazing, you know. So it's like this whole thing. So if it's something that you're thinking about doing for the community part, it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it when you get to make these different connections and relationships with people. So, you know, I say go for it because you won't know, like I said, you won't know until you try it how you're going to like it. Okay, so let's keep going because I've only answered like 4 questions. Okay, how long does your filming process take from start to finish, and do you pre-plan? So I almost probably let's say 75% of the time my layouts are not pre-planned. Yeah. Sometimes I'll have an idea in my head, or I'll have like oh yeah, I'm using this kit, or I'm using Larkin Design stuff, or you know, like I'll have an idea of what my layout is for. Sometimes I'll have an idea in my head that I wrote down or that I just had in my head that I wanted to try. And that's always fun when I'm thinking like during the day. But now that my days are a lot busier, I don't have that as much time to just think things through during the day as much. I feel like that's a really good creative way to stay on your toes and to be able to be productive in your room is if you can take the time every day to write something down that you want to do and try. And having scrappy friends that you can chat to during the day is really helpful because that also helps your brain think about scrappy things. So I do kind of have those moments, not as much as I would love. But yeah, when I was really productive, I thought about scrapbooking all the time. Like even doing my chores, even doing like it's crazy. Sometimes I feel like, you know, like I'm this mental person. Like all I think about is scrapbooking. I'm mopping and I'm thinking about you know, how I could do a diagonal layout. I don't know. You know, like seriously, these are things that went through my head. And I felt like when I sat down at my desk, I could just easily whip things out and be creative because I was thinking about it throughout the day. So that kind of stuff I did do, or I like doing, doesn't always happen. Okay, so filming start to finish. Well, I would say, because I try not to put in me getting my products out. And I don't know, that doesn't always take that long. I guess it just depends. But usually I would say a layout probably takes about 2.5, 3 hours, maybe from start, like from the filming process. And I say 3 hours because sometimes I'm stopping and starting because my kids need lunch or something. They always need a snack when I'm scrapbooking. It's quite funny. Or they need something from me, even though my husband is usually like they have to pass him to get to me. But anyway, you know, isn't that the way of the mother's life, right? Your kids come to you instead of your husband. So also like if I do mixed media, I'm waiting for it to dry and that kind of thing. So I almost never like just start a layout and then finish it nowadays. It's usually in chunks. Like I'll start part of it, let it sit. But I would say it's probably about 2 hours, maybe 3. But then if you want to count the editing part, like I definitely take my time and edit and add things, especially because I'm putting videos out on other people's channels for different design teams and stuff. which I do a lot of. I share not just on this channel, but I also share, I used to share on Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I share on Click Kits, and sometimes I share on the Crafty Maven Getaway. So because I'm adding those pieces and I'm taking photos, and that almost never happens the same time, unless I'm lucky to be scrapbooking during the day and the light is really good, then I'll take a photo right then. But usually I do the layout, and then the next day I try to take photos. I will say in the wintertime, sometimes I batch photo take because the light isn't always that great. So sometimes I have to wait for the perfect time to take photos, which is kind of annoying when it's really, really nasty and cloudy. But so then there's that, and then editing my photos, which usually I use my phone. So I usually use my phone to take photos of my layouts. I've just found that for me, my macro lens isn't that great, and I can get better close-up shots with my phone than with my nicer camera. But definitely, you know, these are things that, like, when you do process videos, you don't necessarily need really high quality cameras to get a good result. Even if you're on a design team, you can use your phone to take really nice shots and share and stuff. Some of it also goes into the photo editing process and making sure you lighten it enough that you see, but you're not overexposing it too much, so that you have a nice white background. That usually means putting it on foam, like a foam core type of board, or using a really, really light, like I said, sometimes I'll use the marble to take my photos on, and that I can, because it's such a light, it reflects the light. So I'm always thinking of that when I'm taking my photos. So but yeah, so the editing process, that probably takes another, like the editing and the other stuff probably takes about an hour. But then also, see, so this is one thing that I do, and this is kind of going into a lot of detail, but when I'm done with my voiceovers, I have to listen to, even if I try to listen to the whole thing, because sometimes you never know what's going on. But at the time, it's like, I always hate it when iMovie changes the volume on it when I record it and I check it, because I always mess with the levels so that you can hear what's going on and not hearing background information like my dogs and my kids or whatever, and stuff. So I try to do that. Sometimes I've listened to a bit of it and it sounded fine, and then it uploads and it just sounds horrible. So I've had that happen before. But yeah, so that stuff probably takes a good hour or so to do all that. So it definitely takes me about 3 or 4 hours to do everything, I would say. And then I always compress my videos before I put them on YouTube. I never directly upload right from iMovie, because I just find that it takes too long. So, and you might as well upload right from YouTube instead of going through a middleman, but that's just, so that's what I do. It usually takes about 20 minutes for it to compress, and then maybe 10 or 15 minutes for it to upload to YouTube, unless it's really busy. Like sometimes our internet is super, super, super slow and it takes a little bit longer, but I used to be able to get it done in less than 10 minutes when we lived in Hawaii. So unless it was really crazy, but anyway. So yeah. Okay, what colors inspire you the most? Well, lately I've been really digging like lime green and purples. And I always love teals. Like I love an aqua or teal or minty colors lately. And yeah, I don't know. A good black and white is always fun too. So if you add like a gray to that and a black and white. So yeah. I don't know. I'm just a colorful person. So I usually am inspired by the colors that I'm seeing around me in nature. So like right now it's spring, so there's lots of greens. And there's a lot of flowers that are starting to come out and stuff. And some of those bright flower colors are amazing this year. Our lilacs just got done, so we had that, and those were really nice and purpley. So yeah, I definitely am inspired by whatever colors I see around me. Okay, so what old school products do you still use? Well, I haven't been scrapbooking that long, so my old school products would be stuff that people have given me. I would definitely say when I first started, brads were still a thing, and so I still have a few packs of those. It didn't take very long for me to decide that those were not my favorite item to use. But I don't know. I would say probably brads is really, I don't really have a lot of old school stuff. Okay, when do you possibly sleep? So, I used to scrapbook all the time, and I would stay up till, seriously guys, sometimes I'd be up in my room doing stuff till like 2 o'clock in the morning. I try not to do that too much anymore. Now that I've been a lot busier with homeschooling stuff, I just can't. Otherwise, I will not want to get up in the morning. So yeah. If you didn't know, I have lupus. So my sleep cycles sometimes are really crazy and messed up, but I've just found for me, I needed a little bit more time relaxing. So, but I do love it when I get to stay up in my room later and I have the energy to do it. Like tonight, I had some coffee this afternoon, so it's almost 10 o'clock and I'm doing this because why not? So this video is going to be long. I hope people don't mind, but I do sleep in the morning. So even if I have a late night, which Friday nights I tend to scrappy chat with my bestie, and we like to FaceTime and do that. It's kind of like our, we know Friday nights are our scrappy date night, and we get some stuff done and we chit chat, and it's just a good, time. Keep each other accountable, but it's just fun, right? So it's not even just about keeping each other. It's just a way to just have fun, right? So in those nights, we usually stay up quite late. It's later for her than me because I'm on the Pacific time and she's not. But but that's always fun. So we'll stay up to like 1 or so. Probably not usually later than that. Usually by like 1 or 2, 1, we're usually like dead. Not much scrapbooking is going on. It's just chit chatting at that point. But yeah, so I have stayed up all night scrapbooking, though. I have. Not very often, though. Okay, what do you like most about scrapbooking, and what do you like least? I do not like the cleanup part and the organizing part. Oh, I'm not. I've gotten better. And my room is probably more organized than a lot of other places in my house. I think the thing is if it doesn't get put back right away, I have a hard time getting it put away. I really think that's my least favorite thing is organizing. I also don't like having to purchase albums for my layouts because I hate spending the money for the albums, which was one of my things for this year, and I still haven't done it. I have a pile. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. These are all layouts that are done and need to go in page protectors, as well as all of those up there. I don't even want to know. I probably have about 5 or 6 full albums, maybe possibly more, because I have some underneath my desk too from before we moved. So yes, probably I would say I haven't bought albums at all like in 2 years, but that's okay. Except for maybe a Project Life album. Okay, so yeah, so that kind of stuff is it's not. What do you like the most about scrapbooking? I just love I love the picture part. I love seeing the pictures and remembering the stuff of what we were doing when I took the picture or what was going on when the picture was taken. I love the history aspect of it, of, like, especially when you find a picture that's an old picture and, remembering something or having someone else tell you about it. I love the story, that kind of stuff about it. I also just love playing around. I love playing with the pretty paper and the embellishments and all the different fun little cute things and making them all fit together and making something really beautiful. So I love that aspect of it too. And then I love the sharing part. I love seeing people get excited about something that I'm excited about and being a part of that community. So I know that's not really scrapbooky wise, but like, I really do like that part of connecting with other people who also enjoy and are really excited about things. Okay, so what do you like the most and least about being a well-known YouTube scrapbooker? Well, one, I don't feel like a well-known YouTube scrapbooker. So I don't know. Sometimes, okay, so this goes back and forth too. I will say, I don't feel like a well-known scrapbooker a lot of the times, but then there are times where I'm like, I used to be really big and it's weird that people don't know who I am. Like, I've been around for how long? And some people still don't know who I am. It's like, how is that possible? But then I just realized that we don't run in the same circles. So that's the other thing. I feel like now there's so many more YouTubers and people who share online that I feel like it's not like when I first started where there was just like a small group of people who shared online and you really got behind those people, where now it's like there's so many that, like, just the really good ones. And see, it's like I said, I started a little bit before Jen Scout, because I think she started in the fall time and I started in the summer. And Victoria Marie, I started before her, because I want to say she started probably in the fall time too. I think her and Jen started around the same time. And I started before them. And it was interesting because before that, we would all chit chat, in Nicole's group. And then and then maybe Scraptastic. And then Victoria started her own group and we kind of chit chatted in there. So it's like people like them, I knew them before they were really doing videos. And it's really interesting. But yeah, so like when I think of bigger YouTubers, I'm like, those are people who I think of. And so there's a lot of times that I just don't think about it because we're all kind of like this big group of friends. So it's like, yeah. But then I do realize that, I don't know. I have these moments where it's like when I'm out, like, and I've done stuff with like at Amy Tan's class, and like I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm a YouTuber, like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like me. Like I'll share and I have no problem people, knowing that I've done it. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't want it to sound like inauthentic that I'm like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. But sometimes I want people to know, like, hey, I have this information if you want to see it and be inspired. But then, like I said, there's a lot of times where I'm like, man, it doesn't feel like as many people see my videos as what used to. And I don't know if it's because there's more. I don't know if it's not showing up on their feeds. Yeah. So I think that's the thing I don't like about being a well-known YouTuber, is that when you start noticing who's following you and who's not following you and the numbers, sometimes you have to pay attention to those. I mean, you don't have to be like, oh, the numbers, but like when you start noticing that not as many people are watching videos as they used to, and then you second guess, you wonder, like, am I doing videos that people enjoy? All this kind of thing. Am I being me, enough? I mean, and they're like simple things. It's not like I sit and think, oh my gosh, I have, each of my videos only get about 100 views where they used to get 300, what's going on. And a lot of times I know really what the problem is. And usually it's that people like consistency and people like to have a schedule and know what to expect. And if you don't do that as a YouTuber, you really should be doing it, right? So these are things that you find out as you get going. So I hate that background of having to really overthink things. And that happens even when you're on design teams too, because you start thinking about, what do I need to do to be a better, how can I get on a bigger team? How can I, when really it's just like, I want to just create really cool and awesome fun things, and I want to use fun products. And, if a company notices me, that's awesome, and I've had the opportunity of having companies come to me and ask me to use their stuff, wanting me to share their stuff because I'm already using their stuff. And that's a really amazing feeling, knowing that you're on a team of someone who really wants you, because you already use their stuff and you love their stuff and you already were sharing their stuff. So yeah, so that's one of the things that I absolutely love about being a more known YouTuber is that, or like even just on social media, when you're sharing stuff, is the opportunity that it gives you that these companies see you and they like your stuff, or they, you get bigger people like Dear Lizzie going, oh my gosh, look at this photo that someone took of my stuff and it's really cool. It's like, those are moments that like, you're like, yeah, this is really cool. But I also think that one of the things that I absolutely love about being a YouTuber is that, and I know I've said this, is being able to connect with you guys as a community. I know I don't do it enough and comment on my videos enough, but I definitely see your guys' comments, and I absolutely love that I've been able to connect with people who love the same thing I do and are passionate about scrapbooking and being creative. And so I really hope that I just inspire people enough and keep conversating with me, because I feel like people who I see all the time, I really definitely am really excited when I see another comment that I know of, like, oh my gosh, like, this person liked my video, or this person said this, or this person said that. So yeah, that's fun. Okay, so what are your top 3 go-to designs? I don't know. Layered. Where I definitely like when I have a photo somewhere near the middle of a layout and I have a lot of layers in it, and I have like maybe something up near the top or the bottom. Sometimes it's more in a diagonal. I definitely like I like to use a design where I've used like stripes or something with a mixed media, either they're up or down, and then I have my photo on there. I don't know. I feel like I really do try to change things up, and I try not to use the same thing. I definitely like the L or the T type of design, but I don't know if that's really my go-to. I don't really do grids that much, so yeah. I do have a tendency to sometimes do double pages, but that's not even my go-to design. And I don't use the same design on each time that I've done those. I don't know. That's not really a good question, because that's hard to answer, because I don't like mixed media. That's my go-to design. Like adding some kind of paint to the page first, whether it's acrylic paint or watercolor, and just putting that right on there. So, okay, let's go to the next question, because I've been talking for almost an hour. I knew this was going to be really long, so I am sorry if you guys don't like long videos. It's just me though. Okay, what are your favorite inspiration pieces? Mood boards, sketches, art, etc., and why? Okay, my biggest favorite inspiration pieces is nature itself. I just love being outside and seeing something and taking that, feeling those colors, and putting it on a page. because I'm seeing it and I'm feeling it and experiencing it. I feel like the layouts that feel the best to me are ones that I've been able to do that, right? Um, yeah. But I also like mood boards, which kind of are similar because you can take something that you're seeing or feeling all around and build a board. I recently just did something behind the scenes with that kind of concept, and I'm really excited about it. But anyway, I can't really talk about it yet. I will, I promise. I do like using sketches, but that's definitely not my favorite thing. I think I tend to use sketches or Scraplift when I'm just not sure and I need some place to jump off. And I actually would say probably I should be using them more when I do have these days. But I know that also being on design teams kind of switches that up a little bit because you can't always just Scraplift or use a sketch. So I definitely like to add some kind of art, or I like to see art or something colorful. That kind of stuff definitely inspires me. But like I said, I think nature is really, or whatever is going on around me is one of the biggest things that I use as inspiration. Okay, why on God's earth have I not bought blank and why? um, Probably like the stamping platform or something. I would probably say that's probably the biggest thing. Like, why haven't I bought that? Because I don't stamp enough is really why. Why haven't I bought better lighting? Because I'm not sure I want to fill my room up with crazy lights. Why have I not bought a desktop yet? See, and these are things that I think about because I do videos. I will say recently I just got the iPad Pro, right? With the sketch pen, and I started playing with it a little bit and starting to design some stuff, and I'm excited. It's really fun. So if you're someone who likes to be creative, like just, maybe you can't be in your scrap room, but you can do something somewhere else on the go, like the Pro with the pencil is a really awesome thing. It's really fun. With Procreate, you can just doodle and design, and then you can save your work as PNGs and put them right on upload them. So definitely, if you're looking into something like that. So I don't know. I feel like when I bought it's right up there. It's hard to point to it. It's right behind me. I feel like the silhouette was another one of those things that I bought that I was like, why did I wait so long? Even though I really had to wait for the money, but I don't always have a ton of chunks of money to just buy a lot of amazing items. Definitely one thing that I feel like this year, since starting to do more organizing, since I just got a lot of stuff in here, that I wish I had done it a lot earlier. I wish it was something that I had started off doing. But this is something that you don't think of when you don't have a lot of stuff. And as you start growing, you do kind of start buying things. But I wish I had did that kind of stuff a little bit more. So I guess that's more of what this question is about. So bold or pastel? Probably bold, but I do like a good pastels, and I love Maggie Holmes, and she has a lot of stuff that's not quite super bold. So yeah, bold though. If you're talking about my personality, I am not pastel. Stripes or dots? Stripes. When I design stuff myself, stripes is usually how I go. I don't like them to go all the way across the page though. Got to keep it fun. Okay, so the next one is, do you have any organizational tips? No. Yeah, start from the very beginning. Also, I definitely say keep like things with like things if you can. I don't know. Limit, like, know what your limit should be too. Like, um, I have this like huge drawer of uh old papers that are scraps that I just can't get rid of. And now I'm not even using that because I just keep putting the scraps back in with their collections because I keep all my collections together and stuff. Have better scrap storage. I really don't have any good tips except for that, like, if you can, when you first, like, find a way to organize that works for you in the space that you're in, and make sure you put things away right away, because I find that that helps me if I'm putting things right away. I don't know. Other than that, I can't really think. Okay. What do you think are key items that you need in your mixed media stash? So you need a good primer for your pages, because sometimes you have these waters, and I really like the watercolor primer, the ground absorbent, ground absorbent. I love it. It's a lot. I like it better than gesso, guys. But it doesn't work with acrylic paint. So, but definitely want to have some really good brushes if you can. That's gonna make a difference. And I don't know, because I use different stuff. You want to have some good stencils, some good go-to stencils that you can use lots and lots of times. And maybe some good pens and like marker pens and stuff that are gonna work good for doodling and stuff. Because you can have a lot better of a page if you can doodle on it. You can do some different stuff. I don't know though. Metallics. Go for metallics when you can. I don't know. You want a good paste that you can count on, whether it's a paste like shimmers, like the Dazzlers or textures or whatever, or you're just using regular paste. Find a paste that you absolutely love so that you can use it. I know Wilna, she uses like a lot of just the gel medium, and she uses that a lot. Just find a paste that you like. You want a really good spray that you also are going to like. I like to use sprays for water. See, sprays are so great. So here's one thing I'm just going to say, and I'm going to plug in. Whether you're using like Shimmers products, which is my go-to, or you're using like Prima or other companies, having a good spray is awesome because you can use it as watercolor. You can spray it. You can do splatters. There's so many different things that you can do with it. And without just spraying it. So you can create a lot of awesome things. In the fall time, I'm sure I shared this, but in the fall time, I did a lot of, fall, like leaf stuff. Let's see. Do I have another page? I could have swore I had another page with leaves in it. So here's some of it. Okay, so I never finished this, but that's okay. I'll finish it this fall. Where I took these. This is pretty much all using shimmers, right? So the Inklings and then and stuff. And if you look at it, it looks like a real leaf, and I just watercolored with the sprays. So you don't even need to have the pots. You can use the sprays like watercolor. So having some good go-to sprays that you love is definitely something I would recommend, because I don't spray with them very often, but I use them as watercolors. I mean, my palette, guys, you should see. This is the last thing. So also, I would say one the go-to thing that I definitely think that is necessary is a palette. You see my palette? It's all crazy crappy looking. I mean, look at all that green. Can you tell I use the green a lot? I think it's all the green that's around here. So yeah, a good palette so that you can mix colors and use, like I said, those sprays. Yeah. So, but also, like I said, I'm really a firm believer in if you find a company that you absolutely love, stick with it, because a lot of times they will have multiple products of different things in similar colors, and you can really mix the colors very well. But I mean, that doesn't mean to not go out and try. But also another thing, a key item, and this is more of a mentality, is don't be afraid to try stuff. Even if you've tried it before and you didn't like it, you know? Okay, so with that, I'm going to go. I've been talking for about an hour. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for sticking around. I absolutely love doing these kinds of videos because this is a good way for me to just talk and let you guys see me from not just my hands, but my face. Even though it's weird when I have to look at my face for an hour. But anyway, I try not to think about that part of it. It's just a little weird. But I thank you guys for joining me. Definitely, if you have any other questions, make sure you put them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them as much as possible. I'm hoping that as summer comes closer, that in my Facebook group for the Crafty Maven, I'm hoping to do weekly face-to-face videos, like chit chats and stuff. I know I've done a couple lately, and I don't know if right now I can commit to every week, but when summer comes, that is my goal, is to do one once a week, and which is kind of chit chat for about 35-40 minutes, maybe an hour, and just about stuff that's going on and what's in my head and stuff. So just a way to chit chat during the week about scrapbooking things. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely head over to my group and, let me know that that's something you're interested in. If you want me to do them here on YouTube, let me know, because I can also do them on YouTube instead and just link over in my group or something. So yes, definitely. I will make sure I have the questions in the info box below so that you can see them in case you want to do them. So definitely, if you want to share this kinds of stuff, like I said at the beginning, be looking forward to seeing a scrapbook tour room at some point. Hopefully this week I can make my room look a little bit more, I mean, it's not horrible, but could be better. It's hard to get it like immaculate in here. And this week I'll be doing like a kit type of video, so where I'll explain more of that later, but I'll talk to you guys later, and I hope you have an inspired week. Bye.